It's late at night, but guys, we're excited to be able to talk to you guys about Team Cycle Bonus because Kirk has been diving into that side of things, the last week?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's something that it's really important for coaches to understand about Team Cycle Bonus, because if you're not understanding it and you're not focusing on it, you're not growing your business. And believe me, you can ask Kirk, I'm horrible with numbers. I'm really bad with numbers. I freak out when I see numbers. I hate math. But this was one thing that I had to start semi-understanding in order to grow my business.
You want to understand it from the start.
Yeah.
Because if you get started and you don't understand it, you're going to regret it later.
Yeah. And so we're going to try our best to keep it simple. If you guys have questions while we're going through things, just put them in the little chat bar and we will go over them at the end.
Yeah, ask questions because we both understand this pretty good, but we've never really explained it.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes we might say stuff and kind of assume you guys already know some stuff. And so if you don't hesitate to ask us and let us know.
Exactly. Yeah. It's, sometimes it can be foreign. And that's okay. It's okay to ask questions, you guys. If there's something where you're like, I don't quite understand that, ask us. Okay? So,
you want me to start?
Yeah, you can start.
So, I don't know how much everybody already knows. I'm going to kind of start with the basics and assume you guys don't have too much of an understanding of anything. But, so when you have your team, you have a right and a left leg. So anybody that is underneath you is either on your right or your left leg. There's no in between or anything like that. And your right and left leg consists of the coaches that you have signed up, so the coaches that you personally sponsor. But you can also have people placed in your, what they call it, in your organization.
Mm-hmm.
So you can also have people placed underneath you that are not your personally sponsored coaches. So it could be from Megan, it could be from other coaches that are just above you, but they could be graphically placed underneath you and not be your personally sponsored coaches.
So for instance, I've been a coach for 9 years, and Kirk was looking through my organization, and he's like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize, so-and-so from, it's not even Janelle's personally sponsored coach. It's like Janelle's coach's coach is in your downline, and it's like, oh yeah, I know that because I see her, sign up coaches, or I didn't know so-and-so is in your downline. Like it just happens where your coaches, all the way down, you guys, end up in your downline, and that's how your volume grows. Let me make sure we're all muted real quick. Okay, you can keep going, Kirk.
And then, so like I said, you have your right and you have your left leg. You have coaches on both sides of them. And then always one leg is going to be considered your strong leg and one leg is going to be considered your weak leg. Mm-hmm. And we'll kind of get into that. Typically, your stronger leg is going to be the leg that has more coaches on it. That's not always true, but more times than not, that's true.
Yeah, so if you look at your office right now, majority of you guys, unless you just signed up within the last month, you're going to see some kind of points accumulating in one leg. For me, I'm on Janelle's right leg. So within the first couple months, it wasn't right away, but within the first couple months, I started to see that leg start getting some volume in it. And I'm like, I don't know where these people are coming from. Where is this volume coming from? And it was like I would have, 300 team volume points on my right leg and then 0 points on the other. And I was like, I don't quite understand why those points are happening. And like Kirk said, if you have your strong leg and your weak leg, your strong leg is the one that comes from me. So you'd start seeing some points. So if you logged into your office, you would see that one of your legs had more volume.
And typically whatever leg of Megan's that you're on, so if you're on Megan's right leg, your right leg will most likely be your strong leg and your left leg will be your weak leg, and vice versa. If you're on her left leg, your left leg will be strong, your right leg will be weak. And that's kind of into a whole nother topic that we might cover, I don't know, next week or in the next couple of weeks as far as like coach placement and all of that stuff. So each one of your legs will, from day to day, week to week, will accumulate what's called like team volume. So if you have like one coach, say one coach on your right leg, one coach on your left leg, and let me back up. I told you we're going to be a little all over the place. But how you get team volume is any coach that is underneath you, whether it's your personally sponsored or like we said, whether it's another coach that fell in your downline that somebody else signed up, they will accumulate team volume based on what they buy and what they sell. So if they buy a bag of Shakeology retails for what, $125, $129, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So where the volume comes is everybody knows that there's like a 25% commission on everything. So you subtract that 25% commission, that goes down to 90 PVs for Shakeology. So if a coach underneath you buys or sells, then that accumulates 90 team volume points on that leg. Mm-hmm. So if they buy a bag of Shakeology, they get 90. And then if they sell a bag of Shakeology, they also get 90. And then that all trickles up to you. So that would be 180 total for you.
Yeah, if they're buying Energize or they're buying Beach Bars or anything that they sell or purchase, it's going to go into your volume points.
Now, anything you buy or sell is going to be considered personal volume, so that's not going to go toward this team cycle bonus. That's only the coach. Mm-hmm. What else is on here? Okay, so we talked about the strong leg and we talked about the weak leg. The strong leg is going to be the leg that accumulates more team volume than the weak leg. Your ultimate goal is to try to get your legs as even as possible. And we'll explain that. So we'll explain that in a little bit too. I think that might be it for that.
Okay, so let's talk about how you actually cycle, you guys. And something I want to make sure you guys know, because a lot of you guys have sold, 3-day refreshes before, or you've sold a challenge pack, or, you've sold things before, and you get that quick commission, right? And you're like, okay, I got quick commission. Why wouldn't I just focus on the commission side, Meg, as opposed to building these legs? And Kirk and I went through and looked at my income from last week, and it's about this every single week, you guys. 93% of my income comes from team cycle bonus. Okay, so when you see these coaches that are quitting their jobs and being able to pay off debt and doing all of these things, it's not from them being amazing salespeople, right? None of us signed up to be amazing salespeople. We signed up to change our lives and to change other people's lives.
That's a common misconception. Is that coaches sign up and they're like, well, I don't know that many people that I can sell challenge packs to, and I got to sell, so many challenge packs every month to make money and everything. And then in the grand scheme of things, these coaches, like Megan said, that do this full time, that are retired, that make a good amount of money. I mean, we just told you 93% of her income this past week came from team cycle bonus.
Yep. And it's the stronger of the two, to build a team. If you're just focusing on commission, it's all based on you. But if you're doing your own commission, but also helping your team, and obviously you guys know that everything I do, you can share with your team until you get your footing, and then, you can go off and do your own or continue to share what I do. It's up to you. But it's all about duplication. Okay. So helping your team succeed too. And that's where the income goes up. So why are you missing out on the bigger way to earn money? Okay. For me, when I wasn't building a team, it was because I was uninformed. I didn't understand it. I was like, okay, it's easier to just make commission on my own, when really you want to be building a team.
It's easier to make commission because it's kind of a quick, fast way to do it.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about actually team cycle bonus. Okay. So when you log into your Coach Online office, there's a couple tabs, and I don't remember exactly what it says, but I believe there's one that says, where's the one that says left and right leg? Do you remember? Okay. I'll tell you guys tomorrow. But if you look at your first Coach Online office, you'll see all these little tabs that are, down the side. And one of them says your income, another one's earnings, I guess. Another one says Success Club. If you click through there, one of them says volume. You will see your left and your right leg volume. Okay. And you'll very easily be able to see one has some points for this week and the other one has 0. Okay. So let's talk about team cycle bonus. In order to team cycle once, you guys, as an Emerald coach, you have to be an Emerald active coach, meaning you're active and you have a coach on your left and a coach on your right active, okay, for that week. And it has to be Wednesday night at 11:59 p.m. EST. You have to be active. Everyone's active. And you get active with 50 personal volume points or more. So one of your legs, say that your weaker leg is your left leg, and then your stronger leg is your right leg. One leg has to have 100, and the other one has to have 200. Okay, in order to team cycle once, that's how the equation has to be, 100 to 200. You would cycle once.
And that's the team volume that we were talking about.
Yes. So as an Emerald coach, you'd make $14. And it's funny, every time I have a coach who's cycled for the first time, I get a message like, woohoo, that was so fun. I got $14 off my team cycle bonus. And I know as a brand new Emerald, it's like, I'm not getting anywhere near that. This is where I really want you to hear me. If you're not, and we'll talk about this in a second, but if you're not keeping your Emerald, you're not ever going to see those numbers go up. You have to stay active Emerald. You have to, and continue to move your business forward, or your volume points are not going to go anywhere. Okay, you're not going to be doing the $14. So as an Emerald, it's $14 per cycle. As a Ruby coach, which you guys can look up how to get to those things, a Ruby coach, it's $16 per cycle. And then for Diamond, it's $18 per cycle. So Diamond and on, you get $18 per cycle. So as opposed to $14, you're getting $18, which is really, you know, in the grand scheme of things, it adds up.
You might be thinking that's like $4 difference.
It makes such a difference.
Start cycling several times.
Yeah, it makes such a difference. You also want to make sure that you know that you don't get commission off of your coach's purchases. So say you have a coach sign up with Shakeology Home Direct. That first initial commission you get, because I forget what they call it, but it's like a sign-on bonus. So you would get the same amount as, you know, if they were a customer or a coach. But that next month when their Shakeology ships, you get the 90 PVs in your legs as opposed to that commission. Okay, and some of you might think, but wouldn't I just want the commission? No, because as you continue to build your team, those points are going to help you cycle more. Okay, make sense? Anything that you want to put on that?
Well, this kind of gets into our next topic, I think. But just so you guys really understand, I mean, the whole point of this is to understand the team cycle. So, again, I'm just going to reiterate. So you have coaches on your right, coaches on your left. They get volume based on what they buy or sell. All that volume then trickles up to you. So then you have kind of a total team volume on your right leg, a total team volume on your left leg. And then just say, for instance, you ended up with 400 team volume on your right leg, 200 on your left leg. So the way it'll work is it'll take 200 from the side that has the most, so the 400, it'll take 200 from that. This side has 200 total, it'll take 100 from that because it's always that 200 to 100 ratio. And then that'll be one cycle. So you'll get $14 if you're Emerald, Ruby, and Diamond's different. So then what we have left is we still have another 200, still have another 100 left in here. So it'll cycle one more time. And it'll cycle to get another $14, $28 total. Both of them will be drained. And then the next week it'll redo all that stuff. But it's not always going to be pretty nice, even numbers either. I mean, you might have 500 on one leg and then 100 on the other. So then what that means is it'll still take 200 out of the 500 one. It'll still take 100 out of this side. This side will be completely drained. You'll still be left with 300 on the right, but since you have nothing left in the left, it's only going to cycle once. And that's why we said you want to try to keep those numbers pretty even. Now, the good thing is that 300 that's left in the right leg will carry over to the next week. Mm-hmm. But that'll carry over to the next week. So it's not like that volume just goes away completely.
How does it stay? How does it carry over?
Well, you have to be Emerald.
You have to be an active Emerald.
Yeah, active Emerald.
You have to, if you drop your Emerald, which I know it happens, you guys. It happened to me quite a few times. But just know, like, you really, once you hit Emerald, you want to keep that Emerald and keep building. Because if you're building, okay, and you see that your legs are getting to 201 and then 400 in the other, or, 201 and then 500 in the other, so you have that extra, to just get brighter, extra 100 volume points, what's going to happen, you guys, is that extra 100 volume points, if you are an active Emerald, it's going to stay for the next week. So say then that next week, you get enough points to, make that completely even, which it doesn't always work out that way. Then they both drain, and then you start adding up. But say that you don't get them even, they keep adding up. Like that leg that would normally be lost if you dropped your Emerald, it'll stay growing. Okay, it'll keep growing until you're able to, get the amount. Does that make sense? Get the amount for both of them drained. Now, if you drop your Emerald, say that you drop your Emerald and you have an extra 100 points in that leg, you lose all of that carryover volume. All of it's gone. And between Tubing Mindset, you guys, Lift 4, all the things going on in the team and the business right now, the amount of volume in this team is insane, you guys, and the network is insane. And Beachbody keeps giving us all of these opportunities to be able to help more people. And, you get volume points with these early bird specials, you guys, and you're missing out on all of that if you are not Emerald or if you have dropped your Emerald. Okay?
But that's why it's important to this is kind of another topic, but to keep recruiting and keep inviting.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't try to, if you get one coach on your right, one coach on your left, say I'm Emerald, I'm set. I mean, it's not unlikely that something's going to happen to where one of them quits, one of them goes inactive, and then so you have to constantly keep doing it.
Yeah, and the faster you build guys, the faster your income is going to, the volume and your legs are going to grow. And I know some of you guys fear building a team, you guys, but that's the best part. Like, I wouldn't know any of you guys if I didn't build a team. And I was terrified. I didn't think I was going to be, like, even good at this, okay? But you have us to fall back on, okay? You have us. Should we go through all those? Okay, so we wanted to go over, and if you guys have questions, put them over there, but we wanted to go over one of the things that I've had people ask me is they're saying, okay, so you have a strong leg that Meg's, coaches and her and other coaches are building. Wouldn't I just want to focus on my weak leg, and wouldn't I just want to build my weak leg so that my income starts increasing? Unfortunately, that's not how it works, okay? You have to put coaches in both sides.
Well, it is kind of how it works, but it's not smart.
It's not smart in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
Is that you want to make sure that you are building on both sides, because rank, they have you capped out. So if you are just an Emerald coach and you are building so that you're able to, make $250, wouldn't that be nice, in 1 week of team cycle bonus, and you're just stuck at Emerald and you have enough points to push past 250, you're going to lose that money, because they cap you out at ranks. I don't know if I have the specific amounts right in front of me, but I know that Emerald is 250. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're building for your rank. The other thing is that it's going to make you more solid in order to continue to increase your team cycle bonus and your leg volume, right? And then the other part of that is just you can't rely on other people to build it for you. Right? You want to make sure that you are doing the best that you can to build your business.
Yeah, like we said, you might get some coaches in your organization from Megan, from coaches above you and stuff. Now, that doesn't mean personally sponsored, but it means, you'll accumulate their volume points on your team and everything. So you can't rely on just them.
Yeah.
We've kind of already talked about that. Focus on Emerald, focus on Diamond. So she said you get capped out at Emerald at 250 for a bonus, or for what am I saying? 250 for the team cycle bonus.
And
then, it's been a long day. And then there's different caps. Diamond is 1,000? 2,000.
Yeah, I think it's 2,000.
And then it goes up, but
yeah. That's a whole nother topic. Yeah. We don't want to overwhelm you guys. But we think just the fastest way to increase your team volume is to first get Emerald, guys. Duh. You want to get Emerald. You want to make sure that you continue to build. So I would shoot for at least 2 to 4 coaches that you add to your team every single month, you guys, if not more. Okay, so you focus on Emerald and not just bringing on people for the discount. You want to find people, and I know it's in a perfect world, we bring people in that want to work the business, right? I always said that. I would put that out there. I was like, there's not people out there that want to work the business. And it was all about how I was talking about it, you guys. And we've seen trainings about this. Hopefully you guys watched the National Wake Up Call. If not, watch it this week with Allie about talking about bringing coaches onto your team. It's all about how we talk about it, you guys. If we bring people in and we're like, the discount is so amazing, and you're just going to love the discount and love the products, then they're never going to know that there's an actual business opportunity, right? But if you're like, you know what? This is changing my life. I'm so excited. This is where I'm going. This is where you could go if you want to. And, the discount's pretty nice. You have to focus on the fact that this is a solution-oriented thing to help whoever with whatever, and the discount is the nice part too. It's like the added bonus.
Now here's another cool thing too, is that and this is can be a goal for a lot of you guys, but if you get to 2-star Diamond, which I know you might be thinking I'm so far away from that, but you can totally
get finish the year at 2-star or higher.
So what happens when you get to 2-star, maybe some of you guys know this, but you can open up a second business center under your name. So it's just kind of like opening up a new store, I guess you could say. But the cool thing about that is that you could place that second business center on your weak leg.
Yep.
So if you need more volume on your weak leg, you'll have an entire second business center you can put there. And the cool thing is that when you sell stuff, when somebody orders from you, if you have them order from your second business center, your second business center will always make its own money, but then that will then trickle up to your first business center and you'll get team volume from that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're stuck and you're like, man, I got so much volume on my strong leg, but on my weak leg, I'm really struggling to get volume. Then when you get 2-star, you put your second business center under there. You can feed that volume through yourself, and then that's like a really good way to try to even it out.
Mm-hmm. And I think that probably scares you guys because you're like, I am just an Emerald coach, or I am just a coach status. How the heck would I ever get to 2-star? One, you have to stop saying that. Hopefully you watched the mindset video with Brad today in our new and improved group. It was amazing. He had me like crying. But it's all about what we tell ourselves, you guys. If you tell yourself that you're not going to build a team, you're not going to build a team. But if you say, you know what, I have no idea what the heck what I'm doing, but I know that I'm going to get there and I'm going to try my best every single day, then you're going to get there. The second business center, I remember when I was first an Emerald coach, you guys, I had no idea what the heck I was doing. I was not making anything because it was my mom and my dad, and that's what Janelle told me to do. So I was like, okay, I'll sign up my mom and my dad. And it was like I made money when my mom bought Shakeology, and then it would drop. And I'm like, what is the point of this? You know, like I'm paying for their business service fees, and they're just discount coaches. What is the point of this? And Janelle said, you just have to put your head down and keep building. You have to keep introducing the business to people. You have to keep trying. You have to know that we all start in the same spot. We all start with 2 coaches, guys, and then it goes to 4, and then it goes to 6, and then for people who really want it, it goes to 10, 12, 18, 40, 200, you know, and as you do that and you focus on 2 coaches at a time, you guys, I'm just going to keep going Emerald over and over. Don't complicate it. I'm going to go Emerald over and over again. Focus, just like how 2P Mindset says, focus on 2 pounds. Focus on 2 coaches. All of a sudden, you're going to blink, and you're going to have those 8 coaches that get you to our retreat, and then you're going to blink, and you're going to have 16 coaches, and you're going to have, you know, out of those 16 coaches, 3 or 4 people who are actually working the business. And then all of a sudden, your volume is going to continue to grow up. So at the beginning, you guys, the beginning's the hardest because you're like, oh my gosh, I'm doing all of this work. I feel like I'm not getting paid back. But in the long run, it's so worth it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Is that everything on here?
I think so. Anything you want to say?
So, well, Kristen asked a question. Kristen said, so she has
That's a nice
1,266 volume in your left, which is good. 65 in right. Right leg needs to get to 200.
Yep.
No.
Wait.
Your right leg needs to get to 100. Right?
Oh, yeah. So you should already be, so if you're at, your right leg has to get to 100. So you would
you have
cycle
to have minimum
once.
of a 100 in one leg and 200 in the other. And since your left is well over 200, your right one just needs to get to 100. Now, if your right one got to 100, then that would cycle once. It would take 100 out of the right and then take 200 out of the left. So your left would then go to 1066, and that would carry over.
Yeah.
Now, since you have 1266 in your left, if you were able to get your right up to like 500 or 600, if it got up to 600, you would cycle 6 times. So then 6 times, if your Emerald would be 14, so that's what, $84?
Yeah.
So you make $84 in a week because you have some good volume in your left.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome. Megan, I've been there too. I remember you guys, so I was stuck at Emerald for 2 years. 2 years of me kind of having a BS story in my head of not being able to build a team, you guys. And I remember like I had like 6 coaches and I was still stuck at Emerald and I just couldn't understand it. And my volume started growing like crazy. And I got capped out of that 250, you know, and it's nice to make 250 a week, but you're like, I see all these volume points disappearing, right? Like I could be making so much more. That's why you don't want to get to that point, you guys. You want to build your rank before your volume gets there so that you're not capping out. Okay, Anna said, my real struggle, I struggle with selling. What is the best way to mentor others if you are struggling with yourself? So take a deep breath. If you haven't watched Brad's mindset thing, go watch it. It's all about what we tell ourselves, you guys. In order to improve, we have got to fuel our brain. And I know you guys might think I'm crazy, but it really is all mindset. You have to tell yourself, I'm not struggling. I'm doing amazing. You know, like I'm doing amazing. I'm doing the best that I can. I'm doing, you know, everything that I can right now to improve my business. And I'm going to take it one day at a time. You don't have to give your coaches all of the answers. I don't give you guys all the answers, right? Because I don't know all of them. I don't know all of the answers, especially with the way that social media changes. You need to believe in your coaches, okay? Believe in them and not be afraid to go first. So if you try a post and it fails, cool. You let your coaches know that probably wasn't the best post. If you try something that works, then you share it with your team. No coach, even thinking of Lindsay Matley, who's our top earner, or Melanie Mitro, no one has all the answers, you guys. No one's got this like completely, even though it might seem like, you know, on the outside that everything's together, they don't, okay? So If you're struggling, you need to change the way that you're talking to yourself first. And I think from an outside perspective, Anna, looking at you, like, although you feel like you're failing, you're doing really well. You're still a baby coach in my eyes. You only signed up in March, okay? It took me, 7-8 months to make my first check, and you're already way ahead of me. And I think that was my mom. Yeah, actually it was. It was my mom who signed up as a coach. So you're already ahead of me. You've already made that. So just know that we all start at some point, okay? And then Megan said, I love that. Emerald, yep. Just keep it simple, you guys. Emerald over and over again. I know it can be overwhelming. You probably heard Kirk say 2-star, and you're probably like, man, that would be amazing. Okay, cool. Think about that. Make that your end of the year goal. And then say, okay, so I know that's my goal. I'm going to focus on 2 coaches at a time. And then just keep going. Okay? So any other questions, you guys? Hopefully this made sense. We tried to keep it very simple. Did it make sense?
No, it never really explained it to,
people?
Yeah.
All right, guys, I hope it did. And just know that, if you're not an active emerald, I expect you to be an active emerald by Thursday so that you can start benefiting from all of this volume that's accumulating. Even if you're like, it's 0 right now, it's going to add up, you guys. It's going to add up. It's going to add up. And then when you are starting to bring people out on that other side, oh my gosh, all of a sudden you're going to have a nice pretty leg like Kristen has right there,
Kristen, you get that volume up in your right?
Yeah. Or like, I think of someone who messaged me the other day that has, over 1 million volume points on one leg, you guys? And then like, how much does she have in the other? I don't remember. It was like 200. And she's like, think of all that money. And she's an active active emerald, okay? And it's just been accumulating for years, you guys. And we're like, if you just build up that other leg with volume points, holy moly. Like you're going to start making $1,000. Like, that's crazy in a week. Okay, so, all right, guys, I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to message us afterwards. We hope this was great.
Yeah, message Megan or me.
All right, guys.